Most people don't like to lose, and I don't either. However, I want to talk to you about something that is actually an intentional loss to create a potential gain in real estate and or investing. This is something I'm having a lot of discussions with people as we progress towards the end of the year. Making some strategic moves right now, even if it may be considered a loss, could potentially position you for a really great gain. So pay attention. We've got three different things that we're going to be taking into account on this in three different sections where you'll maybe see the benefit of where a loss could be actually a gain. Also, make certain that you share this with family and friends if you find it valuable, because this is a discussion I'm having with a lot of different people right now as we go into the third quarter of the year. Let's first talk about if you own a home. So, if you own a home, consider a couple different questions. In this situation, let's just say that you are on your third home. Most people start with their starter home. They sell their starter home. They take the profit from the sale of their starter home. They move it into their second home. They then will potentially move into a third home and or even a retirement home. If you actually do have benefit of having of having equity, which is the difference between what you put down and the loan and what you paid for it, then if you roll that equity into the next home, that's a gain. Well, if you do that again, that's another gain. Where I find people sometimes get stuck is, let's say you're on home number 3, and let's say you're in a position to where you believe that house is worth a certain amount of money based off of what the market conditions are. Well, right now we are having sort of a volatile market, and people are always asking me, well, I might be losing money or losing equity on my home. Take into account how much equity you've actually gained over the course of the other 2 sales. When you look at it that way, even though you may not necessarily have as much profit on your third sale, you're still gaining, not losing. When I talk to people about that, they suddenly have this light bulb that comes on and they go, oh, I get it. I'm really not losing. So in that situation, they may have a small loss on the sale of that third home, but in actuality, they've had a huge gain over the course of their homeownership lifetime. That's something to consider there. If we go on to the next point, let's go into the second area where a loss could actually be a benefit of a gain. If you happen to hold income property. Now, anybody that has income property is always looking for ways to maximize the benefits of that. The best thing to do is make certain that you pay that income property off as fast as possible. But as you're owning the income property, there are a couple things to consider in that. First of all, depreciation is one, and also how long you've owned the property and whether or not you have an actual profit from the sale of the property. Sometimes, if you've owned the property for a long time, you may not necessarily recognize a huge amount of profit based off of the capital gains that you may have to pay. I know it's a little bit confusing. This is why we need to have a conversation. If you're in a position where you have income property, I want to cover a few points. Understand I can't give legal or tax advice, but we can sit down and strategize. So, case in point, I have an investor right now who owned a rental property and they sold it. They transferred to another rental property. Well, as it turns out, they're experiencing sort of losses on that next rental property, but because they made so much profit on the first rental property, it makes sense for them to sell it this year. And even though they may lose a little bit, because of the amount of taxes they will save as far as the capital gains tax, it actually benefits them. I know it gets confusing, but it doesn't have to be. That's again where they're losing a little bit of money in order to gain even more of the profit back that they would have had to pay capital gains tax on. Next thing happens to be investments. So if you look at your year, especially as the year provides, look again at what you have as far as your investments, especially in the stock market. If you're in a position right now where some of your stocks have performed very well and some of them haven't performed so well, then it might make sense to get rid of those lower performing stocks so that way if you end up selling the higher performing stocks, you can take that loss on the lower performing stocks and offset the gain on the higher performing stocks. All of this is just like Monopoly. All of it is money manipulation. And one of the things we have a lot of fun with is helping our clients actually go through this process and strategize to make certain they make wise financial moves. You have approximately 2 to 3 months now to end of the year for you to make all sorts of different strategic moves to make this happen for you. If you would like to get together and have a discussion, please reach out. And again, please pass this on to family and friends. We're not giving legal or tax advice, but we do like and understand a lot of different strategies to help you capitalize and maybe make that loss actually become a gain. Pass this on to family and friends, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and sign up for notifications. We're always trying to be educational and make sure that we provide accurate and timely information so that you can capitalize as much as others. We hope you have found this helpful. Have an amazingly blessed day. Bye.